嗨，大家好。这个周末我们去一个不远的地方度假。这个地方的名字叫 Palm Spring。这个地方离我们家也就是1个半小时的车程。这是一个靠近沙漠的小有名气的旅游胜地。以前只是听人说过这个地方，但是我从来没有来过。这一次是我先生早早为这个长周末预定好了的一个短途旅行。今天早晨我们吃过早饭，整理好行李，12点才开始出发。看这些山，这是一个穿越这种低矮的山路的一条公路。你看高高低低，起伏不断，挺有意思。这是通往那个 Palm Spring 的道路。Wow, looks good.
Yeah, this is all just recently redone.
Wow,
but you can see it's still a lot of this.
Yeah. 看这个路走起来，婉转起伏，但是景色特别漂亮。看这个景色多好看！这是我第一次到 Palm Spring。Would you like talking about Palm Spring? Why people like Palm Spring? What's the reason?
Okay, just stop. Okay. Palm Springs is a community that sprung up out in the desert I would guess about 150 miles southeast of Los Angeles. I believe it was founded because it had natural springs, which meant there was a source of water. So people who were traveling overland, far distances, that was one good place to stop and rest and that are very artistic, that are very well done and directed. And so small movie makers hope to have their movie shown here at the Palm Springs Movie Festival, because that will get a lot of attention and get a lot of people looking at a movie that is played at this festival, and especially those that win the competition in the festival. But now there's lots of artists, and there are lots of small shops that sell fancy clothing, dresses and clothes that you won't find anyplace else, because they're the designer only sells here in Palm Springs. There are now lots of restaurants, and so it's become known as a place for people who enjoy arts and high quality food. And it's also partly because of the focus on art, it has also become a place that is very friendly to people of different sexual orientations. So people who are homosexual or bisexual or transgender or any of those things, they find themselves welcomed, and they can live out in the open. They don't have to hide anything. And there are lots of other people with the same orientation that live out here. And so it's become a place that a lot of people with unusual attitudes toward life enjoy coming to live here.
Maybe we can meet some actor or actress.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's really famous ones. They're not going to be out walking on the street that much.
Yeah.
But it is possible that you'll see somebody famous.
Okay. So we will see.
Yep.
Thank you. Talking a lot about Palm Springs.街道两旁坐了这么多的人在观看自行车比赛。这是一个终点站，所以大伙都在这迎接来到赛结束这次比赛的人们，看看。